is very seldom that mere ordinary people like John and myself secure ancestral halls for the summer. A colonial mansion, a hereditary estate, I would say a haunted house and reach the height of romantic felicity, but that would be asking too much of fate. Still, I will probably declare that there's something queer about it. John laughs at me, of course, but one expects that in a marriage. John is practical in the extreme. He has no patience with faith, an intense horror of superstition, and he scoffs openly at any talk of things not to be felt and seen and put down in figures. John is a physician, and perhaps that is one reason I do not get well faster. You see, he does not believe I am sick, and what can one do? If a physician of high standing and one's own husband assures friends and relatives that there is really nothing the matter with one but temporary nervous depression, a slight hysterical tendency, what is one to do? So I take tonics and journeys and am absolutely forbidden to work until I'm well again. Personally, I disagree with their ideas, but what is one to do? I get unreasonably angry with John sometimes. I'm sure I never used to be so sensitive. I think it is due to this nervous condition. But John says if I feel so, I shall neglect proper self-control. So I take pains to control myself, before him at least, and that makes me very tired. I don't like our room a bit. I wanted one downstairs that opened on the piazza and had roses all over the window and such pretty old-fashioned chintz hangings, but John would not hear of it. He said we came here solely on my account, that I was to have perfect rest and all the air I could get. He is very careful and loving and hardly lets me stir without special direction. I have a scheduled prescription for each hour in the day. He takes all care of me, and so I feel basically ungrateful not to value it more. It is a big, airy room, the whole floor nearly, with windows that look all ways and air and sunshine galore. It was a nursery first, and then a playroom and gymnasium, I should judge, for the windows are barred for little children, and there are rings and things on the walls. I never saw a worse paper in my life, one of those sprawling, flamboyant patterns committing every artistic sin. It is dull enough to confuse the eye in the following, pronounced enough to constantly irritate and provoke study, and when you follow the lame, uncertain curves for a little distance, they suddenly commit suicide, plunge off at outrageous angles, destroy themselves in unheard-of contradictions. The color is repellent, almost revolting, a smoldering, unclean yellow, strangely faded by the slow turning sunlight. It is a dull yet lurid orange in some places, a sickly sulfur tint in others. John is away all day, and even some nights when his cases are serious. John does not know how much I really suffer. He knows there's no reason to suffer, and that satisfies him. I meant to be such a help to John, such a real rest and comfort, and here I am, comparative burden already. I suppose John never was nervous in his life. He laughs at me sewed on this wallpaper. There are things in the paper that nobody knows but me, or ever will. Behind that outside pattern, the dim shapes get clearer every day, and it is like a woman stooping down and creeping about the pattern. In fact, I'm getting fond of the room in spite of the wallpaper, perhaps because of the wallpaper. It dwells in my mind so. I think the woman gets out in the daytime, and I'll tell you why privately. I've seen. Life is very much more exciting than it used to be. You see, I have something to expect, to look forward to. John is so pleased to see me improve. He laughed a little the other day and said I seemed to be flourishing in spite of my wallpaper. I turned it off with a laugh. I had no intention of telling him it was because of the wallpaper. He would make fun. I've decided to free the woman from the wallpaper so she never has to go back in it again. I've decided to free the woman from the wallpaper so that she doesn't have to be trapped in it at night. John left for the day and I must get to work. I have locked the door and thrown the key into the front path. I want to astonish him. I'm getting angry enough to do something desperate. To jump out of the window would be admirable exercise, but the bars are too strong even to try. Besides, I wouldn't do it. Of course not. I know well enough that a step like that is improper and might be misconstrued. I don't like to look out of the windows even. There are so many of those creepy women. They creep so fast. I wonder if they'll all come out of the wallpaper as I did. I suppose I shall have to get back behind the pattern when it comes night, and that's hard. It's so pleasant to be out in the great room and creep around as I please. I don't want to go outside. I won't, even if Jenny asks me to. For outside you have to creep on the ground and everything is green instead of yellow. But here I can creep smoothly on the floor and my shoulder just fits in that long surge around the wall, so I cannot lose my way. Why, there's John at the door. It's no use, young man, you can't open it. How he does call and pound. Now he's crying for an axe. You'd be ashamed to break down that beautiful door. John, dear, said I in the gentlest voice, the key is down by the front steps under a plantain leaf. That silenced him for a few moments. Then he said very quietly indeed, open the door, my darling. I can't, said I. The key is down by the front door under a plantain leaf. And then I said it again, several times, very gently and slowly, and said it so often he had to go and see. And he got it, of course, and he came in. He stopped short by the door. What is the matter, he cried. For God's sake, what are you doing? I kept on creeping just the same, but I looked at him over my shoulder. I've got out at last, said I, in spite of you and Jane, and I've pulled off most of the paper so you can't put me back. Now, why should the man have fainted? But he did, and right across my path by the wall, so that I had to creep over him every time.